I was literally iced in Fargo, North Dakota, when Tony called me, and I had hours to talk. It was a phone call to my wife after my phone call with Tony. 4 months later, I was the new head of the Myrtle Beach office. My name is Jeff Steele. I work out of the Myrtle Beach office. I've been in commercial insurance for 34 years now. I started in Cleveland, Ohio. It was 10 years ago when another Wells employee, Tony Paygrabs, reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in working in the Myrtle Beach office. It wasn't too much of a decision when you're coming from Cleveland, Ohio, and especially in December. At Wells Insurance, I'm a commercial producer. I do the property, the workers' comp, the general liability, the commercial auto, those types of coverages. Hospitality, habitational, those are kind of built-ins as a specialty. I also handle a lot of golf courses and country clubs, as well as construction, and then I also write quite a few public transportation entities. What I like most about Wells is the team environment that Hal and Steve have fostered. And not only that, I can give you one instance where my car caught on fire in Columbia, South Carolina. And I called Hal to let him know that, hey, I'm not going to make it to the sales meeting tomorrow. He literally offered to hop in his car and drive from Wilmington, North Carolina to Columbia, South Carolina to pick me up if I needed to. And not to pick me up to bring me back to a meeting, to pick me up and drive me home. I already had an Uber taken care of, but that just spoke volumes. I think the best lesson that I've learned throughout my career is don't take no personally. I'm a sales guy. If somebody tells you no and hangs up the phone on you, and that bothers you for the rest of the day, then don't get in sales. I feel the biggest challenge that I have had to overcome throughout my career, the changing market cycles, hard market to soft market, low pricing where we're giving away insurance to high pricing where people can't afford insurance, and learning how to deal with that with your various clients, as well as the various brokers and carriers that you're working with. That's been the biggest challenge. My very first job, I was about 13 or 14, I was the paper boy. I got on my bicycle, get up in the morning, picked up the newspapers, folded them up, and then rode my bike and threw them on everybody's porch. So my first job out of college, I worked at GMAC, which is the finance arm for General Motors. GMAC hired me as an auditor. So I would go to car dealerships and do floor plan audits. That took maybe 10% of my time. So the other 90% of my time was collections. So I was out knocking on people's doors, asking for their past due car payments. And if they couldn't come up with the money, I was the repo man. It was not fun. Rarely was there a good day. You're not liked by the dealers because you're doing the audits. You're not liked by anybody else because you're calling them about their car payments. You're not liked by the other people the only people that liked me were the tow truck drivers. This is gonna sound corny. If I could do anything for a living, I'd stay in insurance. The past 34 years, it's been a pretty good gig. I've learned a lot. I've met a lot of awesome people, made a good living. I don't think I would change it. One of my hobbies now is I hop in the pool and swim laps. I started swimming about 6 or 7 years ago. It's really helped, help control the weight and the health issues and all that. Swimming has been really good to my family. So I got involved with the board at the Masters Swimming. So I'm on the board of South Carolina Masters. Again, it promotes learning how to swim. People who live by water, how to swim. I think it's very important. Most of the people that take advantage of it are disadvantaged people who don't know how to swim. I had one kid that came up and my grandmama told me, never get near the water because you will die. The kid's terrified of water his whole life. And we actually taught him how to swim. But then I'm also helping out with the little kids swimming, the little kids swim program where they have swim meets. I've been working as their starter and their meet official. Swimming's been pretty good to my family, so it's kind of my way of giving back a little bit. I got started swimming because my son came home one day and said, Dad, I want to join a master's swimming program and I want you to do it with me. Your 18-year-old son at the time comes home and tells you that he wants to hang out with his dad. So I'll give this a shot. I thought it would last maybe a month or so. And 7 years later, I'm still doing this. I want to do some traveling. I'd love to see some places in Europe, but I'd also love to see some places in the United States. Never been to Mount Rushmore, never been to the Grand Canyon. Love to do Yellowstone, but also would love to see some of Europe. My wife's family's from Germany. I'd love to see maybe some of where her family came from. My family's from Scotland and Ireland. I'd love to see some of their. I am a true insurance nerd. I read insurance forms all day long and pick them apart and put them back together and find the holes and find the gaps, and that's kind of so I guess that's my secret talent. My greatest weakness be my breaststroke in swimming. It is really bad. And as any of my teammates, I'll tell you, accomplishment I am most proud of by far, it's raising 3 amazing kids. My oldest daughter graduated with her architecture degree from Miami of Ohio. My youngest daughter is at Northwestern working on her master's degree. And my son is a fireman. I've raised 3 great, responsible kids. My favorite book is because I watched a movie recently called The Boys in the Boat. It had such a great story, but it didn't really delve into the characters. So I got the book and read it, and it's like, wow, that became my new favorite book, I think. My favorite TV show is whatever show my wife's watching at this time. I like action movies, like the Jason Bourne series or the Mission Impossible series, those types of things. They're fun. Yes, they're corny, they could never happen, but it's just enjoyable. I like 70s rock. If I had to pick a favorite band to listen to, it would be Steely Dan. It was my nickname in college, Steele. So I define success by my happiness. If I am happy at what I'm doing, I'm successful at it. Best advice I've ever been given, take note of the little things that happen, because those little things turn out to be the big things, 10 years down the road. Don't forget those little things.